Today on The Big Story, 6 more stations to be opened along the Thomson-East Coast Line later this year. 28,000 digital economy jobs to be created at the new Punggol Digital District. Singapore's largest street market, Bugis Village and Bugis Street, will get a makeover. Find out how. We have reached the end of the week. You're watching The Big Story, where we will discuss the hottest topics of the day and explain why they matter. I'm Haryanto Diman, coming to you live from the Straits Times newsroom. Good news if you live around the northern part of the Thomson-East Coast Line. Now, just 5 days after the public previewed the first 3 stations on the line, the LTA announced another 6 more stations will be open later this year. Mr. Teo said the entire Punggol town with its housing precincts and the digital district will serve as a living lab for public agencies and companies to test out new ways of living, working and delivering services. He added, that is what a smart nation will be judged by, the improvements to the living experience of our people. The digital district will be powered by a software platform that integrates various smart technologies such as robotics and the Internet of Things. It will gather information including transport conditions, energy and water consumption, and even noise and rainfall. With the use of data analytics, Mr. Teo said it will allow for better. Now, of course, to read more on the Thomson-East Coast Line, you can check it out on straitstimes.com. But in the meantime, right now, we have Wong Kai right here in the studio with us to tell us more. Kai, welcome. Now, Kai, how will it benefit commuters' travel time? If you could give us an example of it.
So, looking overall, building more stations is obviously a good thing. More people will have access to more stations.
Yeah.
Stations will be closer to residents of the area, and specifically the Thomson-East Coast Line. Last weekend, the Woodlands North, Woodlands and Woodlands South stations opened, and towards the end of this year, or towards sometime during this year rather, another 6 stations will open up, and about 100,000 households will benefit from these 2 stations. And from these 2 phases of the TEL.
Yeah.
And basically, LTA is saying that these residents will now have a only 10-minute walk from one of the 9 stations.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a good thing for them, obviously.
Yeah.
And they're also saying that residents will have time savings of up to 50%. So a Xingming resident, for example, who stays in that area, if he or she is making their way down to, say, Republic Polytechnic, which is towards the far end of the line, will have their journey time halved by about from 50 minutes to 25 minutes.
Right.
So that's quite incredible.
Yeah, it is. Now, Kai, having said that, are there any unique features to the new stations? And do they serve any particular groups better?
So accessibility was one of the key things that LTA wanted to improve within the stations.
Yeah.
So firstly, they said that the majority of the TEL stations would have 2 lifts each.
Yeah.
So they acknowledge that, even able-bodied people, they would also like to take the lift sometime, but obviously they've been putting stickers up and saying that these lifts should be mainly priority use, parents with prams, the elderly, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. The second thing is that there are these new assisted kiosks. So, for example, if you have trouble buying a ticket, for example, and you needed some help, there's this new video machine that you can press a button and you're immediately connected to an officer on the other side, and they will help you through the transaction, and if needed they actually can complete the entire transaction for you. They can buy the ticket for you on the spot, and you can pay with your card and all that.
Right. So you don't really have to worry, because if you need any assistance at all, you could sort such assistance, right?
Exactly, yeah. These systems, so the TEL will have these systems in place at every station, these new video machines, and the officers will be on call for the majority of the day, until the train stop running. But yeah, it's a good thing. And even at these kiosks, you can do other things like redeem your travel coupons, or pay your fines, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and we also know, Kai, that the TL line is going to be MRT's longest line. Now we're talking about 43 kilometers.
That's right.
Adding 32 new stations to the rail network.
That's right.
Were there any challenges, constructing this line?
Seems like there were quite a few challenges constructing this line. I think, firstly, the geographical makeup of Singapore, going by what I've read, it's quite diverse. So I think the Circle Line had the same problem as well, and several other lines. So the challenges were not unique to the TEL in that sense.
Right.
But basically what the construction work had to overcome was different soil types. So hard granite, soft soil, and that necessitated modifying some of the construction techniques and also adapting some of the old techniques to suit these new challenges. And also, a majority of the stations are in very densely populated urban areas. So take, for example, Kebun Baru station. It's in Ang Mo Kio, Kebun Baru, and that area is very congested. The roads are small, the HDB blocks are near each other, and I think the planners they've done a good job actually in minimizing all these disruptions to daily life. And also the station that's next to St. Joseph's Institute International. So I was at a briefing earlier today, and they said, well, basically we had either two choices. The one was to divert the entire road in order to accommodate our construction, or the other one was to do a different way and go underground and not have to divert the road. So they obviously took the less intrusive option.
Well, it's really exciting to see, these new stations. They're going to be open again later this year.
Yes, they are.
It's especially exciting because just 5 days ago, we actually the public had a preview of 3.
Exactly.
The first stations,
and they saw the stations, and they're all very nice, very nicely constructed. And the theme running through all these stations is artwork. There's a lot of artwork in these stations, and they really brighten up the mood. I've been in some of them, and these stations have really quite a nice interior to them, I have to say.
Well, thank you so much, Kai, for coming on to the show to tell us more about the Thomson-East Coast Line. To read more on the TEL, you can check it out on our website, straitstimes.com. Moving on to our second story. Now, the future is digital, and our next story is a look into that future. Senior Minister Teo Chee Hean officiated the groundbreaking ceremony of the upcoming Punggol Digital District today. When ready in 2023, it will create about 28,000 digital economy jobs where residents can live, work and play together. Mr. Teo said the entire Punggol town with its housing precincts and the digital district will serve as a living lab for public agencies and companies to test out new ways of living, working and delivering services. He added, that is what a smart nation will be judged by, the improvements to the living experience of our people. The digital district will be powered by a software platform that integrates various smart technologies such as robotics and the Internet of Things. It will gather information including transport conditions, energy and water consumption, and even noise and rainfall. With the use of data analytics, Mr. Teo said it will allow for better planning and management of the town to deliver public services more effectively. We have journalist Lester Wong in the studio to tell us more. Welcome, Lester.
Hello.
Now, Lester, first up, we're talking about 28,000 jobs. What types of jobs are we looking at, with the completion of Punggol Digital District?
So I think this figure ties back to something that Trade and Industry Minister Chan Chun Sing said yesterday about 32,000 jobs being created due to 15.2 billion worth of investments to the Economic Development Board.
Right.
So these 32,000 jobs are expected to be created in the coming years, and about half of them will be in the technology sector or the digital economy.
Okay, of which then we will see in the Punggol Digital District, right?
Some of it will be.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how the two figures conflate, but
but some will. And tell us more, about these types of jobs that we can see at the Punggol Digital District specifically.
So these 28,000 new jobs, they are in your buzzword sectors like cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, data analytics. But there could also be jobs from non-tech sectors such as facilities management and education, which will be able to leverage technology to create higher value jobs. So for example, engineers could be able to make use of data to better predict and maintain building facilities.
Now, let's say if you could elaborate more on the other facilities that we can expect at PDD as well, or Punggol Digital District.
So I think Punggol Digital District will have two main components. One is a business park, which is being developed by JTC.
Yeah.
And the second is the new campus of the Singapore Institute of Technology. So what's interesting is that these two partners, so to speak, will share spaces in a flexible land use arrangement. So we could be seeing SIT's research labs and learning facilities like lecture theatres be located in the business park buildings. And on the other hand, we could have businesses in startup spaces and their R&D facilities located in SIT's campus.
Right. Okay. Interesting you mentioned regarding SIT or Singapore Institute of Technology. Now they're going to have a new campus which will be located in the district as well. How does it boost the overall plans for the digital district there?
So I think the aim of having students in the same space as businesses in the tech sector is, to prepare them in advance for jobs that are crucial to Singapore's economy in the years ahead. So there's always a knowledge gap that people experience between graduating and starting work full-time, becoming good and well-versed at that job. So I think short of actually being in the job, working side by side with industry professionals is the best way to learn what the industry values and how to become more employable.
Well, thank you so much, Lester, for coming on to tell us more about the Punggol Digital District. Now, to read more on the Punggol Digital District, you can check it out on straitstimes.com. And now let's move on to What's Trending, where Dylan will share with us what's buzzing in the internetverse. Over to you, Dylan.
Thanks, Arianto. It's time for What's Trending. First up, as they say, all good things must come to an end. The iconic analog boards at Changi Airport Terminal 2 will be taken down and replaced by electronic ones from next month onwards. Also known as Solari boards after the Italian company that first manufactured them, they have been in operation at T2 since 1999 and they are the last of their kind at the airport. Representatives from the Changi Airport Group said the boards have become more challenging to maintain. Ciao, old friend. Moving on, it seems like the saying, one man's meat is another man's poison, couldn't ring any truer. A British lady on a British Airways flight found herself facing the wrath of Southeast Asians on Twitter after she described nasi lemak to be wickedly bad. In fact, she wasn't even aware that the dish was nasi lemak. Miss Katie Morley tweeted a picture of her in-flight meal and described it as chicken curry served with anemic boiled egg, topped with smelly, slimy anchovies. Several users were infuriated and called her ignorant, with some even taking a dig at her for whining about food with flavor. Oops! And finally, a former Mrs. Malaysia Universe and her husband are set to pay 3.5 million ringgit or 1.2 million Singapore dollars to Q&M Dental Group as part of a settlement. Q&M had sued Zoe Chong Li Li and Matthew Hong An Liang in 2017 for alleged breach of agreements. The couple used to run Q&M dental clinics in Johor. The company alleged that the duo had deposited or transferred company funds into their personal accounts and had also set up a competing outfit behind Q&M Johor clinics using the company's resources without permission. I'm Dylan Ang and that's all we have for What's Trending today. If you've seen a story you want to share, tell us on Straits Times Facebook page.
Well, it's a pity. We all love our nasi lemak here. Now, moving on to our last segment, it's known by both locals and tourists alike for its unique blend of independent retailers, juice stalls and souvenir shops. Singapore's largest street market, Bugis Village and Bugis Street, which has seen a decreasing footfall over the years, is getting a makeover. From April 1st, mall developer CapitaLand will take over the management of both entities and has plans to make the area more Instagrammable. The proposed revamp plans include installing colourful container boxes and creating open spaces. They could serve as retail incubators for established brands and local startups, and a Singaporean and Southeast Asian hawker food hub. However, some tenants are concerned that an experienced mall developer could lead to smaller shops being squeezed out from the area as rents and prices are raised. Now we have journalist Clement Yong to tell us more. Welcome, Clement.
Hi.
Clement, for a start, what are some of the proposed makeover plans for the area?
So a lot of these proposals are still in its initial stages and it's still pending the authorities' permission. But some of them include, some of them can be quite simple, like having a bridge between Bugis Street and Bugis Plus, which they have sort of realized that it worked between when they had a link bridge between Bugis Plus and Bugis Junction, because previously Illuma was a bit of a ghost town, but after they created the bridge, people sort of got lost in the mall and just went from one mall to another. So that's what I think they're trying to achieve by creating a bridge between the two malls. Another one is obviously to make the place more Instagrammable, more social media friendly, to appeal to the young people. Some of the stuff they have mooted are bringing colorful containers and stacking them up so that walking through the streets is less monotonous, more memorable. People can stop and take photos. there is going to be a food hub because Singaporeans like their food.
Yeah.
You have a Singaporean and Southeast Asian food hub. You also have open spaces where they will bring in homegrown brands and they will go there and sort of, they'll give them some leeway to think for themselves how they want to display and exhibit their work. So it's sort of called a retail incubator where different more niche brands will come together and try to put their best foot forward.
Right, right.
They've also said that they will have some marquees for young people because that's what Bugis is known for.
Yeah.
They haven't given us the exact timings of these, but there will be events, exhibitions, so people can look forward to that.
Right. Now, Clement, you also spoke to some tenants and shoppers as well, and they raised some concerns. Is there anything that will be done as well to allay these fears?
So a lot of the tenants have told us that because of the revamp, they are quite worried that they will be pushed out because what CapitaLand is proposing is a bit more upscale than what they're used to. So one of the most signature stalls at the place now is a fruit juice stall that has been there for 18 years. And the owner says that he hasn't been told what the plans are and is really afraid that he'll be pushed out because they're selling juice for $1 and that kind of prices cannot be found elsewhere.
Yeah.
Shoppers say that what they will miss most is the affordability of the place because we are all expecting rents to go up after CapitaLand takes over.
Yeah.
A lot of them say they want the place to remain the same, except with cleaner toilets and maybe air conditioning so that it's less hot when people walk through them. But business owners have said that business has been falling in recent months or even in recent years, so perhaps a makeover is timely.
Right.
On CapitaLand's part, they have said that they are willing to work with existing owners, but also looking at new owners. So it really depends on how owners want to work with CapitaLand to sort of rejuvenate the area and present a new version of themselves.
Right. Well, it's exciting, right, to see what are the plans to kind of give a breath of fresh air to the area right there. Well, thank you so much, Clement, for coming on to the show to tell us more on this. Now, to read more on the Bugis Street Village makeover, you can visit our website to read more on it. Now, there we have it, our top stories for today. For more news and videos, do log on to straitstimes.com. Once again, I'm Haryanto. Have a good weekend, and we will see you on Monday.